Hey, welcome back everybody to this dojo. Today I just want to show you a little glimpse of what the Steveston Martial Arts Center is all about. I've been going here to this dojo, especially during nighttime, so I can't really show you guys how it looks, on the outside, especially during daylight. And I just want to give you guys a little tour. Why don't you guys come over here and like follow me a little bit, all right? Yeah, as you can see here, the architectures are very Japanese. It's very aesthetically pleasing, and I'm a big fan of Japanese, samurai culture and all that stuff because I grew up watching those things, movies and all that. But yeah, I'm really glad to be able to follow my passion, especially in martial arts, because sometimes as a man, you want to be able to have that honor, to have that sense of what do you call that? Like you want to have that sense of sportsmanship, a warrior mentality, as you can might imagine. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you a little bit of what the dojo is all about. If you wanna come over here and follow me a little bit, come over. There you go. So here, for now, I'm just going to see if I can hold this door open a little bit. All right, come on in. And here, as you can see, this is basically dojo. It has a lot of history because it was built, I think, back in 1870 or something like that. So it has a lot of this black belt or sensei's name on the wall. All of this, all the achievement, all the awards, all the championship trophies, and also here we have the mat or like the practice region where you have to basically bow. I'm going to show you afterwards, okay, how we gonna do it. But yeah, we got that Judo club here.
So basically what I do before I started practicing is to finger tape my fingers so that I don't risk of scratching myself, especially when you're grabbing the gi, like this thing right here. The material can be pretty rough. So when you're grabbing the gi, sometimes your hands get stretched out because you keep rubbing it up and down like that. So you gotta have to protect your fingers sometimes. That's why a lot of judoka, a lot of people are actually taping, or athletes, they are taping their finger so that they don't risk of injuring themselves like that. It's pretty easy. You can get this tape anywhere from Amazon, things like that. And yeah, basically just fingers your tape so that when you're grabbing the opponent's gi, you won't get scratched or burned, things like that. And yeah, so there you go. Another thing is that sometimes you got to take care of your muscle, your body. You have to warm up first beforehand before you put on anything. So I'm going to show you afterwards, all right? Right now that you got your, prepared everything else, you put on your gi, that's for sure. Don't forget to use a rash guard underneath so that you don't risk, again, scratching your body or, yeah, a lot of these compression suits are actually really well made. They're really great for muscle compression, so you don't risk of tearing your muscle. Instead, it's kind of enclose the muscle together, so you still get that kind of exercise that you're looking for in your muscle, but don't risk of injuring yourself. And then we're gonna put on this belt, still white belt, which is fine. I mean, the point of this training is to get better. right? Especially when you're just starting out, you want to get better. You don't want to rush into getting a different color belt, because sometimes different color belt requires a lot of different disciplines, different commitment. So you got to be aware of that. Once you move up, it's going to be so difficult, and you have to be committed. And this is the way you tie the obi, or the belt they call it. Basically it's like a fisherman knots, you know. Just loop them in, and that's it. That's how you get your gi. And from here you gotta have to point your shoe the other way, like that. So don't forget to take off your socks as well if you're wearing any, especially in this cold weather. You know, you're gonna have to take off your socks before you're entering the dojo, because of the hygiene reason. And then once you put them down there, you're gonna have to start with your left leg facing the other way, facing the dojo, and then you bow, just to show respect to everybody, the sensei, all of your friends here, all of the opponents and everything. It's a common in Japan to bow before you fight, or like start the training. And after doing so, basically the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna line up here, and it's called waza. Waza means like sitting down, sensei waza. So a lot of Japanese, they're using their left leg first to step down, and then another one, the right leg. You gotta have to put your both, like the right feet on top of the left foot, like so. And then you have to compose yourself before the training begins. So you have to sit down like this, and you gotta straighten your back. You cannot be slouching like this. You cannot do this. You have to be really respectful of your sensei, of your opponents. So you have to, you know, basically sit like this. If you want to show, if I can show you how it looks from front side, it's gonna be like this. So this is how you normally sit in this kind of situation, right? And then from here, you're gonna have to face the sensei. Sensei is going to be sitting on the opposite side, and then from there you're gonna have to bow. But don't do this, like don't go too much. But it's just like the samurai, you have to always keep your eye on the opponent. So you have to bow like this to show respect, but still getting your face, or like your eye towards your opponent. So just do this, that's enough, and then the training begins, right? And we begin with some, you know, light warm-up, like feet, like running, you know, making sure you have a really nice solid warm-ups before you begin, because I think that's really important as an athlete, as a judoka or martial artist, to know your body, you know, to master your own body, so you know your weaknesses, you know your strength and all that stuff. And from here, I'm going to show you one of the techniques. It's called mai ukemi. Ukemi means falling, right? In Japanese, there's a lot of, especially in Aikido, karate, or even judo, they have the same terms, like ukemi. Ukemi means falling, and mai ukemi means forward, right? And yoko means back. So ushiro is back, and yoko is the side. So let me demonstrate for you. All right, the first thing is mai ukemi. Mai ukemi, you have to basically put your hands here, and you just follow through. You know, you just bounce back like that. Again, with the hand, you gotta do this, and that's how you basically fall in a lot of Japanese. Yeah, in a lot of Japanese martial arts, you have to know how to fall, because the opponent's gonna throw techniques at you, and you need to know how to fall. All right, and something even for a lot of people are doing that just to know, so you are not scared of falling down, or like you're not scared when the opponent actually throws you on the mat. So again, do a lot of things like that. So you have to be agile, you know, you have to be you have to understand your body and not be afraid of falling down, or even like Ushiro. Ushiro is like falling down backwards, so you gotta do this. Or the other way around. So yeah, that alone is already a good warm-up for me. So I'm gonna, you know, hit the throwing techniques. All right, why don't you guys follow me? Now, I told you before that we use this rope to practice, and this is like mimicking this gear, mimicking the gi. So when you're grabbing the opponent's gi, do that, right? You do that with both hands. So I'm gonna demonstrate for you how we usually do this when you're practicing by yourself without any uke. They call it uke, or like, what do you call it? Uke. Uke means the receiving partner, right? And then we have nage. Nage is actually the one who performs the techniques. So I'm gonna be the nage here, and this is gonna be my uke, right? So the first thing that you grab the opponent's wrist, no, not wrist, like the elbow area like that, and then the other one is from the gi, from here. So this is how you normally do in judo, right? And from here, you can throw your opponent. You can do this, like there's a series of steps and a series of movement that you need to perform. First thing is the morote, right? Morote, you have to lift your opponents like that, and then you push your hands underneath him, and then you do this. You throw with your hip, not with your arms. So first thing you do this, and then you throw with the arm. You don't throw with the arm, you throw with the hips. Again, from here, like that. So you gotta keep your opponent off balance. So there's a lot of like leg movement, like sweeping and all that stuff. And then once you grab a hold of your opponent, you gotta do that. Like a lot of sweeps. You gotta keep your both feet. That's why legs, like foundations, are the master here. You gotta train your legs to be strong, because you're gonna use it as a leverage to throw your opponents. If you don't have a strong leg, the opponent's just gonna, you know, grab you. You're gonna fall down. So it's really important to have a strong leg, and that's why we are practicing, training our legs by running, or like by doing a lot of things, you know, involving legs, bench press, leg press. So you have a really strong leg to do that. This is called Morote Dori or Uchimata. Morote Shionagi. All right, so there you go. That's how normally what judoka practices. Right? I hope this video is quite informational for you, and hopefully if you want to take on this discipline, this martial arts, you're gonna be able to really take in the history and the philosophy behind the martial arts. Because martial artist is not just someone who likes to fight, or like it's not someone who just wants to exercise, but also someone who, you know, will honor the legacy, will honor the founder, the idea behind the martial art, the philosophy, you know. So yeah, thank you again for tuning in. Hope this is informational for you, and I hope you like what you see, and I'll catch you guys again next time. Bye. You know, sometimes a lot of judoka, they gonna lose their sometimes a lot of judoka, they going to ruin their gi. Sometimes they're gonna be like that, and then when you're fighting with the opponents, you gotta have to be agile, you know, just like the Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It's like the Brazilian. So you gotta be agile, and sometimes you can even compete with the gi off, like no gi tournament. Sometimes, usually, you're gonna go like this. It's gonna be a lot of groundwork, you know, a lot of doing this and things like that. So a lot of groundwork, a lot of like submission, things like that. So you gotta be able to be agile, walking on the mats, a lot of shrimp walks, doing that. Then like pin your opponent, left, like do this. You gotta be fast, like explosive power. That's going to help you, you know, to get away from your opponent's guard, things like that. So yeah, again, these are really interesting martial arts for me. I love grappling, I love boxing, I love Aikido, even the philosophy side of it, and becoming a warrior. Because who you are as a person, it's gonna be resides deep within you. You gotta have to follow your heart. And for me, since I was really young, I feel like I'm at the disadvantage because I was born kind of small. You know, I have a small figure. My body isn't that big. So I gotta train myself to be better and to be big and to know how to handle myself in the face of adversity or in face of danger. So yeah, it's really important for you, especially when you're a man, when you're head of a family. You gotta have to know how to protect your family. You have to know how to protect yourself, your wife, your children, right? So for me, this is a good way to always constantly reminding myself to not take life as it is, but always be your best, you know, always take in whatever experience you can take and build your foundation, build your body, build your heart, build your brain, so you can perform at the highest level. So that's my philosophy. All right, so before we end the session, I'm just going to pay some respect. So before we end it, again, you have to use the seiza, and then do this, and you bow. Again, from then on, you're free to leave the dojo. All right, so thank you again for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time on the next video. All right, and bye-bye.